All right. So we have the cinnamon sophisticate, the savage socialite, the vicious abolitionist. Everybody, welcome back. So everyone, welcome to the for those who are new, welcome to the hashtag AfroSapiophile podcast, found on AfroSapiophile Podcast Network. And here today, we're going to talk about high visible stupidity. And the target folks we're going to be talking about are Trick Daddy and Lil Wayne. And for those who've been living under a rock, Trick Daddy, he disrespected, 22 million black women.
All women.
Yeah, well, all women. Yeah, but yeah, by saying that paraphrasing here, but black women need to, get it together because Spanish women and white women are taking over or something like that. It's really stupid.
All of them hoes or bitches.
Oh wow! Oh yeah,
black
white bitches. Yeah,
and then Spanish. For one, Spanish hoes are white.
And Lil Wayne, he was asked the question. What? Lil Wayne was asked a question about Black Lives Matter, and he failed that test. He stated that he didn't know anything of it. He says why I might be paraphrasing here. I don't like listening to. He is really an ugly and nasty sounding rapper person, and he said something about don't get it something that you're not feeling, you don't get into or something like that. And
it doesn't involve me, then it has nothing to do with me. You're stupid, and not the cameraman, but you specifically are stupid if you let somebody else's issues become your issue if it doesn't involve you.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So let's begin. Who wants to go first on who you want to hit first?
I mean, I feel like it's two sides of the same coin with them. It truly is. It's coonery. It's just, I mean, I'm talking about either one first. I just Trick Daddy happened first.
Yeah.
I would say go with him first because he's just a portion. He's only the majority that he disrespected versus dummy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ray, what's your take on Trick Daddy?
For one, he disrespected all females, not just all women and ladies and girls, I guess. Some people I see now are offended by the word female, but he called, for one, he doesn't know that white and Spanish are the same. And I see that a lot in America. People don't realize that Spaniards are actually Europeans, which are white people. But he kept saying, black hoes, if you don't get in shape, if you don't do this, if you don't do that. He's making black women nothing but physical. So he's saying, if you don't get in shape and meet this physical criteria, then these other females outside of the race are going, these other hoes are going to take your spot. But it's a spot that, if we judge him by the same criteria he's judging us from, looks, sorry, but you don't have anybody waiting in line for you. So you can.
I don't know anybody dropping draws for him.
No. I don't even know when that the CD that he had was out, but I remember I was not even legal at the time. So me in my 30s right now, and I wasn't even legal at the time when he was actually popping. I don't think he's really someone to. I don't think that people would actually walk past him in the street and think, "Ooh, enough? Am I good enough? Am I this enough? Am I that enough?" Because he's not anybody that's enough for himself.
And that's the thing, these men that don't have shit to offer want to pop off at the mouth and tell you what you need to be to get them. And I'm thinking, fuck, let me do everything exactly opposite because I don't want you. Like when Lil Wayne was running around talking like he wanted to fuck every girl in the world, I personally was trying to become a house plant, a light bulb, a piece of lint because I didn't want to endure that. It wasn't something I wanted to go through in life. So when these men step up out of their mouths and say, well, you need to do this or else I'm going over there. And I'm like, you know what? I want to make sure you go over that way. Let me just be everything you don't need me to be so that you leave me the hell alone. I feel like with Trick Daddy, I mean, that one CD that he had, which is probably now everybody's coaster, you know, he wasn't relevant for like what 10, 15 years. Like you said, he was popular before we were even legal. Because I remember being in high school, when Nan Nigga came out, and I was like, okay, I don't know Nan Nigga like you. I sure
Maya
don't.
and Silk the Shocker were making songs.
Yes,
like that far back behind.
Exactly.
Like when we were still making say like
right.
It was way, way back then.
So the fact that he wants to come up,
me of this meme too.
What meme?
Have y'all seen that meme? If a man is, what is it? If he's loyal to you, then he expects or deserves a freak in the sheets and a woman that can cook and all this stuff. And I think with this sexist ass country, men think that the bare minimum is just to have a little bit of money or not to have sex with a bunch of different people, and all of a sudden they deserve everything from you and you should be doing everything for them, when it just doesn't work that way. Like if you're not screwing around on me, that does not mean that I need to come home, cook, clean, be pregnant, barefoot, doing all this like dumb
that
shit
is
for
bare
you.
minimum. I have to agree. That's what you're supposed to do.
Right. That's the basic shit. Like my mom was like, I don't know any man that takes the garbage out every day and cleans the dishes because my husband does that. And I was like, the fuck is he supposed to do? Right. Like, I need her to raise her standards. And she was like, I mean, because so-and-so's husband doesn't even come home. Well, then so-and-so needs to leave her damn husband. Like, why are you continuing to open the door when he comes back home? Why are you continuing to cook him dinner without cyanide in it? Because I don't understand how this is happening. So, I mean, but standards are so damn low that somebody like Trick Daddy has then kicked down the door to tell us what we need to do with ourselves. And there are people, what bothers me is there are women that are like, well, maybe I do need to get myself right because, it's competition. No, it's not competition, because if he wants to be with, whoever, then he's going to do that regardless of what you do. Like you can jump through hoops, you can, learn how to moonwalk, you can do everything. I mean, you can have an atomic ass. Like it doesn't matter. If he wants to go over there, that's what he's going to do.
I want to talk about Trick Daddy, like my Trick Daddy experience. I remember I didn't, I think I do remember that, Nanny, song. But I really started paying attention because I never saw the guy's face. I didn't know. Back then, I'm an East Coast guy from Washington, D.C., for those who don't know, Northeast, 21st Street. Anyway, when Trick Daddy first came out, I didn't know because at the time, no one really cared about dirty South music except for folks from the South that were also dirty.
Well, that's
like
true.
East Coast cats, East Coast hip hop heads. It's true. It's true. And so when you hear like Nanny, you're listening to their dialects and what they're saying, and it sounds really stupid. Like the lyrics are garbage. The beat sounds like everybody's underarms stink, and it just So by the time it got to like the year 2000 or 2000, like it's 2001, he had this album called Thugs R Us, and he had this one track called I'm a Thug. And all he said, like, the beat is actually tight. So at that point, his production got significantly better, and but he kept on saying I'm a thug the whole damn time. And at that point, I'm an adult. I'm a young adult. I was in the military. I was in Germany at the time. So I'm looking at this dude. I'm like, man, this is an ugly ass motherfucker. This guy's ugly as shit.
Yep.
God damn, this guy. I mean, for a man who disrespects so many black women, I'll say that he isn't even a third of me. But after looking at him, he's not. He might be a turd of me. I mean, because this guy looks like shit. You know,
Can't tell him nothing. That's confidence.
At the time, he was young. Now since he's disrespecting black women, he's old and he looks nasty and crusty, like he has carved face and nasty. It looks like he eats like bloody steak and shit. I'm like, what the fuck you doing? What you doing? What you doing disrespecting black women? The principal women that dance to your stuff. I knew so many black women that went up to the club that went all out on his stuff, and it's like, why are you dissing these? This is your lifeblood here.
But the problem is that he's got an audience. There are black men out there screaming the same thing. I could mention somebody that both you and I know, Johnny, and that person's probably like, well, yeah, he had a point. And I think that's sad. Because I mean, he basically said what he knows so many black men wanted to say, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And that's why rebuttal was, anybody who had an issue with this probably didn't watch my video, or they're single and ain't got no man. Yeah. It's one of those things.
Well, that's what he said.
Like, those very stereotypical things. Whenever he came back, he didn't apologize for
no apology.
He said, anybody who has an issue with what I said, they are probably bitches who didn't even watch the fucking video that I made, or bitches that can't get or keep a man, and they're just bitter and lonely at the house.
Right. Anytime somebody has a rebuttal for some bullshit, all of a sudden we're haters. And I'm like, who's hating? Hating would imply that I wanted to, be in his good graces, or, I was bitter about not being in his good graces. I'm so okay with that. I'm the okayest of okay with him not wanting anything to do with me. I'm cool. Great.
All I know is that was one ugly dude. Like, he's one of them Bamas who like his breath stink. You ever seen somebody and you're like,
I'm sure his breath smells like
looks like his breath stink?
Yes.
He looks like his breath stink. Like, any H word he says.
For a long time, so it's probably rotted away off that weren't already.
He looks like he licks the undersides of New York City sewer rats. I mean, he I wouldn't even stand and talk to him. I mean, like, I would love to flesh this out with him. I really would, but that would mean maybe standing in a room with him. And when you look like your breath smells that bad, I can't.
Man, I thought I saw like 2 flies like crawl out his mouth with no wings when he made that video, because he looked like his breath like it stinks that bad. Dude looks like he has halitosis in his esophagus. Like a breath mint can't even cure it.
Had a baby.
He needs bleach.
Leprechaun and Candyman had a baby and left him at the fire station.
God. But
I mean,
people like that, I mean, they got an audience. They definitely, people that say shit like that, they have an audience. I think we know them as the most cooning dudes in all of America. That it's just it's bothersome that they come out and they say these things, and when the more intellectual of us attack them and like, yo, what are you doing? All of a sudden we're called bitches, hoes, haters, and everything else. But then when you have these little tap dancing ass people that will go and agree, then you just infiltrated, another generation with your ignorance. Like, great. So, and the beat goes on.
The thing that really blows me though, like, since you mentioned cooning and stuff, a lot of people like to make this house Negro to field Negro analogy, where the light-skinned folks usually the house folks, which is true. You have the field folks who usually the dark-skinned cats, which is also true. And it's supposed to be like the dark-skinned youngins is like the realest niggas and shit, the realest of the realest period. And the light-skinned cats are the ones who will be cooning the most. Me, I know that. I mean, since I know the history of black people, for the most part, a lot of our stuff is still hidden. I do know that that it was like a give-take equation for the house Negro, because when the plantation got burnt down, the house got burnt down. It was the house slaves that did that. So I do know that there's this significant resistance all throughout these plantation environment within American slavery. I already know that. So a lot of this shit's already kind of false. But for this mythology, I'm noticing modern day is that you have a lot of these super dark skinned niggas. They're the biggest fucking coons, and these light skinned youngins are the ones that go the hardest against the system.
Well, that's because the light skinned folks, they're more expected to be soft and
right. So we always have something to prove,
and we have something to prove. And then the darker folks, they have more to actually prove to white folks, so that they can actually be seen as
so they live, so they don't get lynched.
But basically, what I got out of that house thing is just don't trust light skin. So,
but it looks like, I mean, I'm not seeing Colin Kaepernick looking as youngins wilding out saying dumb shit like Lil Wayne and Trick Daddy, and I'm like, I mean, I'm a mid-complexion black dude, but for most part, folks will register me as dark skin, and I'm like, but I'm looking at this shit here. It's like, we're all the dark skinned youngins who's not cooning. Like that, two like like a triumvirate, like a dichotomies, right? You have Colin Kaepernick, you have Cam Newton. Which one's light? Which one dark? Light skinned one is Colin Kaepernick. Dark skinned youngin is Cam Newton. Which one's cooning? Cam Newton. What the fuck? What the fuck is going on here?
It's like
there's like other football players.
The bigger you are, the harder you fall. The bigger you are, the harder you fall. The darker you are, the harder you coon.
You look at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Who's he?
In that light, in the respectable light, so it's easier for someone to give you a little bit of respect, and a little bit of money, and then you'd be like,
right,
hey.
Yeah,
and you're like, ooh, they put me on. I gotta coon for them. Yeah,
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Where is he at? He's light skinned. Speaks real and hard as shit. Look at Shaquille O'Neal, cooning, dark as a motherfucker, cooning.
That broke my heart.
Yeah, it's just
and I guess I never thought about it like that. But
it is heartbreaking.
Yeah,
it is heartbreaking.
I mean, I believe, to whom much is given, much is required. And if you get yourself in this position of fame and you've got some fortune, you got all this stuff, you got all these resources at your fingertips, and the world is literally listening to you, don't fuck it up by saying some dumb shit like, Lil Wayne fired his publicist after he did that interview, kind of segueing into him.
Why didn't you?
But you said it, like, and I'm like, so what are they supposed to do? Tackle your ass? Like, because apparently they sent all these letters to the network, and they were like, hey, whoa, stop, don't do that. But I'm like, but you said it. Like, you meant it. You sat there and thought about these things. Like, I don't know whether he was high off that cough syrup or what.
Yeah. One more before we actually go into the real topic. Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, light skin, real. Michael Jordan, coon. That's all I can say. I'll leave it alone. That should be another. That's another topic in itself.
People have it harder than us, though.
You say what?
The darker you are, dark-skinned people have it harder, and they have to work their ass off further and further and harder just to get there. And then once they get there and they get a little bit of money, a little bit of popularity, to be up there and to be able to look down on everybody. And they put it in their head that it's not about race, it's about money, it's about this. And if I could do it, then anybody could do it, because they had to work harder than what the rest of the lighter people had to do. So it's a lot easier to tune out than it is for light-skinned people who are sitting there stuck in the middle and seeing both sides of the story. And then, well, you're pretty for a black guy, a girl. You're good looking or smart for a black guy. You're not really dark. You're not really black. You're not really this. You're not really that. So you're sitting here stuck in the middle. So it's
you ask yourself more questions about life.
But the darker you are, the harder it is for you in society. So once you get to this peak that other people aren't at, the majority of your people, then it's easier for you to tune out and be like, well, fuck y'all. Y'all weren't.
I can't do it.
didn't do this. And it's a
I
lot
can't do
easier
it.
for you to push down.
I mean, I guess I'm
Well,
registered as a dark skinned dude, as a darkie, but
I wouldn't say that.
I can't pull that shit off.
No,
I can't
you're not
engage in the clean
dark
shit.
though.
Yeah, I'm not dark. I'm bright skinned brown. I'm mahogany. Mahogany
You,
skinned black dude, but oh fuck, man, they
you
need to
were
quit.
the paper brown bag rule, so it is a lot
Yeah,
easier. I actually deleted someone today because of this, because she's like, I've been called a nigger, I've been called
I saw that joint.
and she's like, but my light skin never got me no privilege and this and this and that. And I'm like, really?
People are so quick to deny that shit. But I guess
I've been followed by the cops my damn self. I've been searched by the cops my damn self. I've been called, cops have been called on me several times for me not doing a damn thing. But I have light skin privilege.
Right.
Most fucking definitely.
and that's the thing.
Like, just like
You
white
gotta
people are
admit
like,
that
I don't
shit.
have money. And all those people on her posts were like, yeah, this is bullshit. You don't have light skin privilege because black is black and black is black. Bullshit. We are
That's-
literally.
I mean, black is
soft
black,
and
but
black.
light skin
We don't
privilege
know
does
the
exist.
Right.
Colorism
Both
is
the same thing.
Colorism
is
is
a
it's
cousin of
pervasive.
racism.
I mean, it's in our
Yeah.
own community. I mean, like people are treated differently, you know, let alone by, you know, others, but just within your own community. So, you know, people always talk about house slave and field slave. And I mean, yes, the point is that they were all slaves. I mean, let's just be very honest. They were all slaves, and being a slave was not a good thing. But we cannot deny that the people in the house were treated better because of their proximity to whiteness. Literally, you know, just like physically, like they look whiter. So, you know, there was that.
Yeah.
And, you know, for people to deny that, I'm like, you got to look at it in the context of how white people deny white privilege. It's there. It hurts to think about. Like, it really hurts me to think that somebody who is darker skinned is going to be treated worse than me. And I'm like, but why? Like, we're both black.
Part of that denial is a defense mechanism. You feel better in life,
right? And that's the thing. Like,
it's not a problem.
That's why we have to get away from the denial. Like, you gotta embrace that shit. And then, you know, I always ask, well, okay, what's the next step? So once I don't deny it, what's the next step? Like the Kinfolk Collective page, she was discussing that a lot. Colorism, and she was like, you know, here y'all come with y'all light skin tears. And I guess I'm like, okay, so you sound angry now that I've admitted that I've got this light skin privilege and that I don't have any issue with anybody dark skin. I mean, like, you are who you are, whatever. If you're an asshole, you can be any shade of asshole. But my question to her is, what do we do next? Where do we go from here? So once I've admitted the privilege, what would you like me to do? I mean,
yeah. There's some people out there who want to, like, you know, burn everybody down. But before we do that, like, since you mentioned denial, I want to bring up Lil Wayne. You know, Little fucking Wayne, Little Wheezy, young Wheezy, Little Wheezy. Where the fuck you? Once again,
Wheezy F baby,
arrogant East Coast hip hop, you know, enthusiast. This guy. Lil Wayne first came out, I saw like it was like an album cover. He had his arms like this. He's like bare shirt. He's like a little kid. You see like the little white crust of deodorant on his armpits and shit. That mess looked nasty as fuck. And at the time, it's like the Dirty South was establishing their identity. And it's like, I'm like, ugh. And all these guys use like these low budget looking diamond crusted name tags on their album covers. It looks so low budget, like, ugh. You know, and I saw this young man.
That was the shit.
Another ugly ass, little ass dude. And at the time, he's from Cash Money. And at the time, Juvenile, another member of the Cash Money group, was a dude that was in front. Juvenile was like, in East Coast terms, he was the method man of the Cash Money crew. He's the guy. He wasn't the leader of the pack, but he's like the Wolverine, not the leader of the X-Men, but the face to everybody that stands out the most. So at the time, like late 90s, Juvenile was like all over the fucking place, and he really wasn't that bad. So I heard Lil Wayne, he was like total garbage. I think the story is Lil Wayne took some college credits or some shit like that. So by the time it got to like say 2007, 2008, he got good. You know, got Mrs. Officer and all this other shit.
Lil Wayne, he was out whenever he was like 15 years old.
Yeah, he was like back when he had that the white crusty deodorant on his fucking underarms. He find his youngin.
Yeah, he had some good music back then. It just got more popish. Whenever you get more popular, you become more popular. But he was good. But he was a cokehead back when he was 15. So they used to make the low budget films and stuff like that with him and all these people, like all this down south and the Project Pat top drop. Like they used to do all this stuff, and then him and the guys and all this stuff, they'd have these low budget films and pretending to beat up people, but they'd be all like high the whole time, just like his whole entire life he's been one of those popular rich kids.
I don't ever think he wasn't high. I mean, he's high.
He's always been high.
Always.
He's just found new ones, so his whole brain is on.
The joint I'm talking about, the album cover I'm talking about is called Lights Out. So that was his second album he made, his sophomore album, which is interesting and strangely ironic because he's been a sophomoric asswipe ever since. So you know, I never liked Little. I mean, like I like the Carter 3, but he's not a guy that I follow because he's from the South. He doesn't sound like me. He talks.
See, I'm from the South,
like
so I'm a little.
I like T.I. I love Andre 3000 and Big Boy.
I love them too.
But it's
like popular, like Mr. like Mr. Lucci and all these people. Like we had a lot of freaking talent down the South, and he happened to be that becoming that little group.
# Black Oscars episode.
They just pop up. They were like the Destiny's Child of the girl groups in the South. Like they just happened to make and it just popped off.
Lil Wayne,
it was very difficult to be heard over the chopped and screwed scene and all that stuff, and they happened to be able to do that.
Yeah, Lil Wayne.
I mean, I think they took limited resources and did something.
Yeah, I mean, that is pretty
garbage. They were good. They just. I mean, they went over like they trumped Master P and Mystical and Mia X and all these people that once they were battling it out, and then it kind of went to this whole like scene.
Yeah.
So Lil Wayne was the shit back then, especially being 15.
Right.
And young and, with the baby mama and all this other, like this new stuff going on. It's not that he was garbage, it's just that he became garbage because he became like mainstream bullshit.
Right. Yeah, I always think Lil Wayne was whack.
The whole time. Yeah, the little rich kids, and he was like basically the ratchet Paris Hilton.
Right.
Like
not that she's not ratchet though, but
yeah.
It was just that.
Yeah.
You always got money, you got the best drugs, and then your brain is just.
Man, I bet Lil Wayne is more vagina than Paris Hilton. Oh my God, he's more invaginated in his soul than Paris Hilton ever would be. Shit. When I saw that video of Lil Wayne, everything that I don't like about an ignorant black dude is what I saw. Now, if anybody wants to call me an arrogant asswipe because I like wearing the button ups and ties and I speak relatively articulate and all this other good stuff, you're right. You didn't kiss my ass, but you're right. Now, going back to Lil Wayne, it was uncouth, furrow, garbage ass motherfucker. Like there's everything about him I didn't like. I didn't like his body language. He's all like his body language. He looks like
a roach that had been sprayed with Raid.
Yeah, he looks like a fucking roach that just got sprayed with Raid. You know what Raid is? A nerve agent. Anyway,
there you go.
This youngin is like his body language and stuff, and I just don't like it. It looks ridiculously ignorant. Like, how can you follow this guy? And then after what he said, how can you follow this guy? He looks super ugly. He thinks that racism don't exist because he's told a story about some white dude helping him out. So white person helped me out all this goddamn time doesn't mean racism don't exist. There's people being lynched out in these streets right out here. As a matter of fact, I thought I saw this young like shout out to my homeboy Sean Scott, who might be a future guest on this joint. He had a video up on his Facebook joint talking about another black woman being shot by cops. But Lil Wayne thinks this shit don't exist. He thinks that obviously she must have done something bad.
Right, it's an isolated
done something
incident.
wrong. Like Sandra Bland must have done something wrong. She deserves to die based on what Lil Wayne is fucking talking about. And here's the thing about Lil Wayne with his needle dick, ugly ass, Luigi noodle neck having ass, no chin, Luigi looking ass motherfucking ass. When O'Reilly demonized millions upon millions of black youth, he invoked Lil Wayne's image. He said they can't read, they're lazy, can't find jobs, and they have tattoos on their foreheads. Who is that? Okay, let's play a game. Who has tattoos on the forehead? Lil Wayne? Yeah. Raise your hand, Lil Wayne. It's you. The fuck out of here. You have this bigot on Fox News who invokes in your image, demonizing all black people. You think racism don't exist? There's people being shot and killed or being judged as thugs, or which is the code word for white folks code word for nigger, and then get shot like Jordan Davis did. I think that was in Florida. So it's like people are dying, perhaps literally dying, listen to this idiot, his music. I mean, if you think someone's a thug or whatever else, whose music? I mean, it sounds more ignorant. Talib Kweli's, my music box. Camp Lo, Sky Zoo, De La Soul, or Lil Wayne. More likely to get, and Trick Daddy is more likely to get a nigga shot than the shit I listen to. So it's like, how in the
but
out of all the
majority of what we're actually going
out of all the colors in the electromagnetic spectrum, out the fucking blue, why would you come out like that? I mean, I'm pissed.
Here's the thing about Lil Wayne. So after Hurricane Katrina happened, he was all about helping out his fellow man down in New Orleans, and that was mostly black folk. For real, he was helping them out because they were black. And I feel like he was at a point in his life where he recognized that he was black, and he hadn't gotten into all the other shit that he was into, or that he's now into. So he was a little bit more humble. Now, like you said, he's got that good money, got them good drugs, and has lost his ever-loving mind. I don't know if he ever had it, to where we're concerned, but he's really gone off the damn deep end. Like he said something about dark-skinned women at some point, and I'm like, do you see yourself? Like, you're not exactly, Yeah, and I mean, I've looked at his daughter had a Super Sweet 16 special on MTV, and I'm like, where's her name? Like Ray Janae, something like that, whatever her name is. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, she's not exactly light. So you say these things about black women and dark-skinned women, and you're basically turning to your daughter, looking her in her beautiful little face, this pretty little girl, whole lot of weave, a pretty little girl, looking at her in her face and telling her, you are not enough. You will never be enough. Do whatever you can to get a man.
Yeah, while it's tragic that he says this in proximity of his own daughter, all the other daughters across America, all across the world, that's receiving the same message from this fucking asswipe.
Yeah.
And Trick Daddy. He runs full circle. And Trick Daddy. And these members make me fucking sick, man. They're like these are two rappers I never really liked or respected, and they give me more ammunition to punk them. I mean, total garbage.
But they don't like themselves.
Absolutely whack.
They don't like themselves. Like we don't like them, and they don't like themselves because
Well,
if
they
you think
can't
about
because I
it,
mean,
they got
if I
it's
look like
self-hate.
Lil Wayne, I would gargle broken glass and jump out the highest window. You know, if I look
Well,
like Lil Wayne, I would like, man,
but
I would
money has made him confident as a
I
motherfucker.
put
So
it to
he
my
feels
dome and
like
like, ah.
he can just come out and say these ridiculous things and be like, and what? So money has made him very fucking confident or just not give a damn. And he's risen above the racism because he has a couple dollars in his pocket. Same thing with
Because
Trick
he's
Daddy.
known, like, and that does not that actually it actually magnifies racism, because at that point you have this thing called black exceptionalism, or the black best friend syndrome, which I wrote about a while back ago, where if you're the black best friend of a racist, they don't, a total racist, they don't sit there and think, you know what, maybe not all these folks are bad, maybe we need to like chill out with the racism shit. They're more like, you know what, every black person needs to be like you,
right?
So they bunker down and harden up on their racism, because now every black person has to be like this elite super rich dude or super smart dude in my case, or like whatever else.
Right.
So that's what that is. Like, use Obama for an example. It's like every black dude needs to be Obama, based on the Obama standard, and it's pretty whack, because the home dude, the white home dude who was racist at the time, he got a whole lot better. He saw the light eventually, but at the time, it's like this right here. Anybody who's black, anyone else, they are held to my standard, versus any white friend he has, they're held to no standard. All his white friends can range from total and absolute fucking bums, meth addicts, and all this other shit, while all his black friends are like me, super smart, like good looking, dress well, hold their own. Like it's almost like Jackie Robinson when he first joined baseball. That's not equality. Equality is when the first bum was able to exist in a National Baseball League. You know what I mean? The first black bum can exist and just totally suck. That's equality. Have all these
where you can
white dudes
you can be as great
doing,
as white people, or you can
suck
as bad as some of them. Right. Like being great is one thing, but why do I have to jump through hoops and and climb mountains and shit? Like, why can't I just be me?
For the same piece of bread that the average white dude gets. Makes no sense.
Yeah.
Shit, man. I remember Hollywood, one of these Vox or Now This or one of these video making folks on Facebook, they did one joint talking about actresses and actors in Hollywood. How Empire, I mean, I guess a lot of people like it. I don't watch it. It's like the highest rated TV show. But Terrence Howard and Taraji Henderson, they get paid significantly less than their white counterparts who don't get the same numbers they do. Viewers, they do.
Taraji P. Henson just came out with a book and everything. I mean, she's on top of it. She's on fire. And I'm like, why isn't she being paid more? Like, there's so many people that just connect with her. She resonates with a lot of different people. So the fact that they don't want to pay her like she's worth something, if I were her, as soon as that contract was up, I'd be gone. Yeah. I mean, I know it's hard to be a black actress.
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Ray?
If I was her and Light Bright that I don't like, I would actually walk away during same thing like a football season. I would do my kneeling. Say, if you're not going to pay me as if I'm a white person, I'm not going to bring in this money as if I'm a white person. And I would just leave it at that.
All right, so
I feel like a black person if you want to, but I'm not going to do shit for you.
I take it that you don't like Terrence Howard.
No.
Why? We'll elaborate on that one.
He's a prick.
He is a bit of a douchebag in real life.
He is. Yeah. And he's an awesome actor. He's just like J-Lo. Like, I like your acting, But in real life, if I ever got a chance to meet you, I would kick you in the balls or punch you in the.
You know, like when it comes to Terrence Howard, and I might have to like, you know, the somewhere in December, because I do like a Black Oscars episode every like once a month, at least I try to. Usually it has you know, another set of folks, you know, a bunch of black nerds, me, Jerome, and you know, Kami and all them guys. But I'm about to do one with y'all because one of my favorite Christmas movies ever made is Best Man's Christmas, Best Man's
I've
Holidays.
never seen that.
I
meant to see it.
It's so good. It's so good. It has
That's
comedy, drama. It's a very holistic movie. And when I saw that movie, I realized that when it comes to Terrence Howard, and you know, sometimes we don't like to be typecast, you know, but typecasting is something enjoyable for the viewer. His best role is a lovable. His best role is a lovable light skinned asshole dude, and he reprised that role that made him famous, i.e., Best Man. I think he was also in the Wood. Was he in the Wood?
Mm-hmm. Was he in the Wood?
No.
It's the other
He was
one.
in
The Best Man. He was in Dead Presidents, but you know, the lovable asshole. The first Best Man movie. And it was, I could have sworn it was another like bro movie.
I don't like him because of something I saw on Tyra Banks, where he's like, I will never date a woman or take her seriously if she uses my bathroom and does not use the baby wipes.
Oh, somebody, you know what? Somebody said that shit. I was in a group and I was like, you sound fucking stupid. I mean, what you worried about what she got? I mean,
and then to know that he was beating his exes and stuff, just like Mayweather and stuff. I'm like, dude.
Damn, he was beating his ex because they wasn't using the baby wipes. That's mad whack.
I stopped fucking with Brian McKnight over that.
No, I stopped fucking with Brian McKnight.
He forces baby wipes too.
No, when Brian McKnight did that thing, let me show you how your pussy works. That's when I was done with him. I had so much respect for him until he came out with that damn video. Let me show you how your pussy works.
Woman beater too.
I didn't know he whooped ass. Yeah. See, all like kinds of bad shit.
Men that give off this good vibe of just being ladies' men, they be beating the shit out of females.
Yeah.
And Brian McKnight so was Terrence Howard.
Yeah, like wife beating, something that I'll never engage in. At least hope I won't. You know,
not if you want to live.
Yeah, like that's some very vulgar shit. Like you have to relive with yourself after the fact. But
I mean, there's
so many folks who've done it. Like say James Brown, Big Pun. There's so many folks, and it's like it's so painful, especially when you have these heroes like James Brown.
Make mistakes, but if you're in the limelight, then people don't get over that shit.
But see, here's the thing too. That's a good way. Like beating your spouse is a good way to get dead. So childhood friend, or like this family used to babysit me and everything, and the older son. Apparently he got with this girl and he thought, you know, he was just going to whoop her ass a couple times. So she was like, no, sir, don't think so. And he got dead. So can you imagine being the mother of this guy that, you know, was killed because he was whooping this girl's ass? Like nobody's really having too much sympathy for you because your son whooped this girl's ass and she had to defend herself. And that's how he got dead. So, you know, I always think, what about the mothers of these wife beaters? Like, what were they like? Because, you know, they were probably, yeah.
And they're asking for that kid, just like Chris Brown's mama.
Right.
Chris Brown.
And that's a sad thing. Oh my God. I think if anybody ever really wanted to just do a study on him, like write a fucking thesis on him, that would be something I'd love to read. I mean, he's a very interesting person. Like he's not just cut and dry crazy.
He's like he's so young. Like
it's nuances to this.
He is the standard like mental illness. You watch somebody beat the shit out of your parent. You swear you're never going to be that person. You become that person. You hate yourself after the fact. You start doing a bunch of drugs, and then you try to change after a kid pops up and comes along, and then after that, then you never know. It's one way or the other.
I mean, but that's something that we have to, I think overall, what I'm hearing is that we have to hold our entertainers to a better standard. Like, you're not just who you are on stage. Like, Trick Daddy isn't just, Nad nigga. He is this man that came out and said this crazy fuck shit. Lil Wayne, isn't just hollering about Mrs. Officer. He's the man that came out and said all this fuck shit. Chris Brown isn't just, Mr. Let's see who can run it or whatever the hell he said.
We do that though, but they don't do that with their own people. Like Steven Tyler and what's that guy's name? The one that was
David Bowie, actually.
David Bowie.
Yeah.
They were pedophiles, and not only were they pedophiles, but they were not secret pedophiles. They brought
it was way out there.
On the fucking open. But that's because white women don't have the same power that black in the white community that black women have in the black community.
It's not even about that. It's just the fact that white men don't give a shit, and white women don't either, because they're like, whatever. She obviously wanted it at 13.
Right, at 13 you can make that decision.
But then whenever it's like you see the Bill Cosby difference, like with the grown women groupies versus the David Bowie and the 13-year-old groupies that were out in public and they were making out, kissing and drugging and doping, and like Joni and the whatever they're called, Joni and the Jets. Like, there were certain people and certain groups of people out there at 13, 14, 15 years old and doing the same shit that Bill Cosby's groupies were doing in their adult years, and there's a big difference in how we treat them and how we label them.
Right.
It's disgusting.
Which is sad, because they're seen as just having a good time. I mean, that's just, youth is wasted on the young, and they're just having a good time. And then, we have, and I'm not saying that anybody should be forgiven for that. I think, anybody that sleeps with a 13-year-old and is not 13 themselves, needs to be fucking crucified.
Mm-hmm.
What if they was 14 years old?
I mean, they don't need to be fucking no way. Let's just be honest.
I was joking. Yeah.
Had a whole biography about how they felt fucked up, and it fucked them up for years, and they got over it, and they think they got over it at 50, 60. Like, this is some real damaging stuff as a teenage child, and the difference between, like, even with, like, I think the only black person I know that ever could get away with some shit like that is R. Kelly. Like, we still, just because of his talent, he has so much talent. And it's like, are we gonna?
Aura is getting away with everything.
We had an amazing episode with Malcolm Bevel on R. Kelly on Afro Sapial Files. It was pretty awesome. It's a good one.
I mean, I look at R. Kelly and I'm like, yeah, you're talented as hell, but even with video of, and like proof, then you have people telling themselves, well, that little girl was fast as hell. What? Mm-hmm. She was 14. I mean, some grown man takes an interest in you, and maybe if you weren't raised right, or you don't know to be like, yo, fuck you, then you do that.
Time. It's like an ongoing thing. Like, didn't he just get engaged to like a 19-year-old or 18-year-old?
Aaliyah was 15.
Yeah, not only that, but
15, 16 old, and it's an ongoing thing, and we keep on giving him this.
Like the song, a lot of these songs and shit he made, he was dropping all these breadcrumbs of pedophilia. Me and Malcolm, we were like talking about that shit on that old episode. It seems like you're ready. That's not something you say to an adult. It seems like you're ready. That's something you say. That's not something you say to an adult. Someone that's like your age in your age group. It's not. Another one was She's Got That Vibe. That's not, and it like, in that song, he says, cute little Aaliyah's got it. He says that in that song. And then
in the back of it ain't nothing but a number, but you just sitting there like.
And see, that's the thing.
On the album cover of Aaliyah,
he's in the background.
He's in the background. Yeah, that's like the cover.
He's beating his feet to like Sesame Street fucking porn. Like, it's gross. Like, it's nasty.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
When it came out that he was married to Aaliyah when she was 15, and it had to be annulled, not divorced, annulled. Like this shit just never happened. I don't know why it was so fucking hard for people to believe that he did this shit with this 14-year-old. They were like, well, I mean, maybe it really wasn't her in the video, and she looks hella old, and she was being kind of fast. They had every fucking excuse in the world, and I'm like, you are really doing some fucking reaching. You are fucking Stretch Armstrong this shit, because there's no way. Like the proof is right there. Like there are papers drawn up.
40-year-old black women. You think 40-year-old black women are 20 years old, but you think a 16-year-old black girl is like 25. Like stop.
I mean, no, this is what you do. This is what you do. If you think if you're a grown ass, this is a public service announcement from Johnny Silvercloud. If you are a grown ass man and you think that that girl is in her 20s or whatnot, here's one check you can always do. You don't even have to check her ID card. Look at the back of her neck. No, you look at the back of her neck. Her back of her neck has that dark, like it gets kind of dark in the back of her neck, all them baby hairs in the back of her neck. You know that girl young as fuck. She ain't no adult.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Nah, I'm serious. Like if you see like the back of their neck, it look kind of dark on how the hair tapers down their neck and shit like that. That's a little ass kid. Get the fuck away. You want to see nothing else? Just walk off. That's all you need.
I have sent dudes to their house and shit to go get their ID. I have actually ID'd men, grown ass men. Like I don't have an issue with IDing grown ass men.
All right, but let's bring this back. Let's bring this to a close here. Trick Daddy Lil Wayne, and this is good enough to be a hashtag Black Oscars episode. I'm kind of torn between making an Afro-Sapiophile episode or hashtag Black Oscars because we talked about a whole lot of entertainment here. But anyway, we're gonna bring this one to a close. So, are there any final thoughts on Trick Daddy and or Lil Wayne? Who wants to go first?
They are basically the male version of that Azalea Banks or whatever.
Oh God, that thing.
Azalea Banks.
You got so much animosity towards your own people that you're trying to take it out on them, and you're trying to like put other people on a pedestal that have already put themselves on pedestals for the last 400 or 500 years. So it's pretty sick and disgusting to watch, no matter what angle you're watching it. Like fuck Lil Wayne. Yeah. There's no excuses. You can't say, "Oh, I was angry at her for, asking these questions about my daughter." Bitch, when's the last time you spoke to your daughter? And do you know her from the last 12 bitches that you got fucking pregnant? No. Like shut the hell up. Y'all nasty as hell. You're fucking shady as hell. Stop trying to make excuses for other people getting up into your feelings or you getting in your feelings over other people and then trying to put all your people under the bus. Right, bitch.
Yeah.
That's basically.
So. I think we just gotta hold our entertainers to a higher standard. But at the same time, I don't think that Lil Wayne should be asked these questions. They were looking for him to be ignorant. That's the thing. That was just like, let me see what this ignorant asshole is going to say. It's not like he hasn't said anything ignorant before. They were like, I want to see how far this ignorant shit goes. That's like me
Black
asking.
Lives Matter question.
Yes, that's like me asking. That's like me asking somebody's child about architecture and shit just because they live in a fucking house. Like, why? Why would you do that? Why would that be a thing? So I think about it in those terms. And as far as Trick Daddy, that's walking self-hate right there. And I mean, I'm not gonna pick on the man's face because he has lupus, but everything else about him, he got a whole lot of self-hate. And if anybody wants to know what self-hate looks like, he's the embodiment of that. And I feel like he needs a hug. He needs to be loved. He needs somebody to have told him it's okay to be dark skinned. You can even celebrate that shit. So again, just hold our entertainers to a higher standard. They're not just who they are on stage, on the screen. They are more than that. They have thoughts, opinions, and feelings. They should learn to shut the fuck up. They don't. But when they don't, you know who they really are, and you know who you should actually support and who you shouldn't.
I agree. Um, I will make fun of Trick Daddy. He looks like his dad was a trick daddy. He looks like a trick or treat. A whole lot less treat and a whole lot more trick. This is the ugliest dude. First of all, this is like one of the ugliest rappers. I remember this one Dirty South dude I never heard from again. His name was Miracle. That dude does not look like one. Ugly as shit. Trick Daddy is the one who's a little more famous, and he's a Dirty South dude. I'm like, it made me he made me stereotype Dirty South motherfuckers. Like, are all y'all ugly? This guy is an ugly ass dude. I'm sorry. I mean, forgive me, but holy shit, this guy is ugly. Like, oh damn, he has lupus. Oh, you want sympathy? You're ugly. You're still ugly. Not only that, but his character is ugly, man. To sit there and anathematize and execrate 22 million black folks. That's like black women. We're like 44 million folks in the United States. Black women. It really bothers me because me as a man who is a little bit more educated in the black feminist ways and everything else, a little more acceptable intersectionality taking place here, as the vicious abolitionist goes. I feel it's so frustrating to see black men continue to do this shit, and I want to end their lives. If I had it my way, I would be a terrorist and I'll kidnap him and shoot him in the back of his head on YouTube.
Damn.
Like, hey, this is right here. This is an example, or any other black motherfuckers, or any motherfucker, white, black, Lithuanian, or Chinese, disrespect black women. This is what happen. I would love to be that guy, but I can't. I can't.
I just want to get laryngitis.
Resources are not in my favor. So, but I
just want him to be sober for a week. Let him really feel what he's going through and what he's putting other people.
And then I would give him a pussy. I would love to give Trick Daddy a pussy. Make him look just like he does right now with a vagina. He knows. I mean, well,
I don't want him to use the same
ugly ass chick. He's an ugly dude. But anyway,
so
Lil Wayne, there's a couple of songs I like he has, but I never really liked him. He has a really raspy voice. He sounds like the dude that you just don't trust. Like the guy that looks at your car a certain way. And it's like, okay, now I know I can't park here.
I'll just drive around the block till you're gone.
Yeah, like, yeah, it looks really good, man. His body language, I totally dislike. Like, you're the dude that I will want to beat up. I want to fight you. I want bone and sinew to meet your dome and go down. That's what's going to take place. I really don't like Lil Wayne. I like his character, and not only that, but I've given the Dirty South a whole lot of bashing here. I love Dirty South rappers, and so I love much of Dirty South hip hop now, especially I'm an older man. But you look at someone like T.I., he has all the traits that I typically did not like back in the day, but he's still likable. He's still workable.
He's growing.
Yeah, he did a video. He's trying to reverse what racism look like upon white folks, maybe so they can get it. That level of creativity. Where is it? And T.I.'s not even. He's not a prolific rapper. He's not the Talib Kweli dude. But to see a rapper, a materialistic rapper, engage in having a song, at least maybe one or two songs an album, talk about some real ass shit. I dig that. That's all I ask. I can't look for that for Lil Wayne. He's on O'Reilly's side. He's over there with the conservative motherfuckers who use this image to demonize black people. Fuck you, Lil Wayne. Fuck you, Trick Daddy. That's all I got to say. That being said, that ends this show. So for those who I'll end this with this right here. It's about that time. Thanks for joining us. Before you leave, if you like what you heard, click like and subscribe to us on iTunes or SoundCloud or wherever you go for your podcast. Do not let this be the last time we hear from you or you hear from us. Follow us on Facebook, Afrosapiophile. If you want to be heard, you can always leave a voice message at 202-854-1996. That is 202-854-1996. Last but not least, be sure to check us out on afrosapiophile.com for everything that is us. This is Johnny Silvercloud, Soul Brother and One of a Kind. I was about to sign out, but also be sure to check out Ray Rivera on YouTube there, and hit us up on Twitter whenever you can. This is Johnny Silvercloud signing out. Peace.